It's been a while since I've posted a video. It kind of has felt like, what's the point? Um, but I've also been wanting to talk about books that I've read, and no one else has read them. So I'm just gonna do this. So I just finished Julie Chan is Dead, and I want people to read it, so I won't post spoilers, or I guess I won't say like what happened, but the whole premise is that, without spoiling it, obviously, the whole premise is that there's twins that were separated after their parents died, and one became a very affluent, respected influencer, and the other is just like a cashier at a grocery store. And they're no contact, with the exception of when the influencer twin located her regular, I like poor, her regular twin, and bought her a house, but the whole thing was just to post it on her YouTube channel and essentially capitalize on the feel good story. And then, yeah, and then the poor twin gets a call from this influencer twin, Chloe. I don't know why I'm not saying their names. Julie is the poor one. And she gets a call from Chloe that doesn't sound quite right. And then she finds Chloe dead. Um, and then it goes on from there. I'm like, how much do I say? But I really enjoyed it. Obviously, I feel like I have to tell. I'm just gonna tell you the plot, and you just don't watch this if you don't want to know the plot. But she assumes her twin's life, which I think is hilarious because I love any kind of like any story that takes a normal, relatable person and then has them do something that makes us all cringe because it seems so wrong. But then you think, like, would you really do anything different? Like, if given a chance to leap from squat, like, this living, like, to join the 1%, essentially, when we see that discrepancy. So I interpreted the whole thing as kind of like a playful, dark humor look at the way our society is today, in terms of like how we're essentially living completely different lives from the very wealthy, and how the very wealthy look at us, how we look at them, and how there's so much resentment and envy twisted up into both of those perceptions. Like, you see the influencers who are saying, God, I wish I could just clock out at 5 and not have to ever think about my work anymore. I wish I could just go on vacation without having to film things. And they genuinely feel tired all the time and anxious. And then there's the rest of us who are just like, wow, I wish I could afford to live a comfortable life. I wish I could afford a home. I wish I could go out to eat without worrying about it, you know? And it's interesting watching our main character, Julie, go from one to the other, but still remain relatable. And then on top of that commentary, you have this like spooky, ooky thriller element that keeps you hooked. Honestly, the thriller element felt like a bonus to me, because just that like commentary on the differences between the very wealthy and everyone else, like that, I think was enough to make this interesting. But having this like scary undertone, especially in October, it worked out so perfectly because I'd had this book on hold forever, and then my library had it for me in the weeks right before Halloween. Like, perfect timing. And this came, I just also read another scary book. I've been reading a lot of creepy books, and I'm really enjoying the genre. I've been especially seeking out horror and thriller books written by artists of color, and especially ones that don't center like race as the source of the horror, because then I almost feel like I already know how scary and bad racism is. So like, using it as the main plot point doesn't intrigue me as much, especially in this social climate. It's like I kind of need an escape. So it was really nice finding this book where it's like there's elements of that for sure. It definitely touches on race, but the main antagonist is not like purely just racism. It's basically classism, which I think is really at the root of it, right? So it was fun to read. I literally just finished it. I want to hear other people's thoughts. I don't know. I don't know if anyone will even. You'd have to like read the whole book and then come back. But I liked. There's things I want to say. There's a specific thing about the structure of the book, the way it wraps back around, that I thought was so well done. But I can't say it without spoiling the book. But yeah, if you read it, tell me. I liked it. This is the drawing that I've been working on while I read the book, and I very much feel like the spookiness of it is part of this drawing now, because I was listening to the audiobook and I was listening to it as I drew, and it's in there. All right, that's it.